Nothing But Niners crew is back to bring you guys some Week 5 discussions, man. We're going to have some predictions and everything like that. Week 5 preview overall. But first, we have to go through the formalities. I want to thank you guys for checking us out here on the YouTube page. If this is your first time here, make sure you guys click that like and subscribe button. It's very important, all right? The likes, the subscribes, and we'll recommend us to a whole bunch of people who may have never seen us before, okay? So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Also, turn on those notifications so you know exactly when we're going live. Guys, make sure you check out the website as well. It is www.nothingbutniners.com. It's spelled all the way out. There you can see a bunch of articles written by a bunch of great people. You can see a faithful section where we have all your photos of your game day attire and everything over there, even though the Niners don't play today. All right. You're also going to be able to see our YouTube page, our social media pages, our podcast, all that stuff is going to be there. So you guys make sure you check that out. If you're interested in submitting some of your photos that you want to see up on the site, make sure you send those to email through us, okay? That email is going to be nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. So make sure you guys send those emails over there. That's also going to be the same place if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, anything you saw on the show and you don't want to leave this message in public so people roast you or anything like that, you guys can send an email and we'll check those things out also, okay? Also, our social media pages, I mentioned them before. Our Twitter and our Snapchat, our handles are nothing-but-9 ERS, so make sure you give us follows over there. And then last but certainly not least, our Facebook and our Instagram. It is Nothing But Niners. That is spelled all the way out, guys. I am 49ers Mike _NFL. My man Nick is here. What's up, Nick? How you doing?
Bang, bang, Niner gang. What's going on, baby?
All hoodied up over there. I see you, man. What's up to everybody in the group chat also? My man Nick is there. And then last but not least, for now anyway, I don't know if anyone else is popping in, our guy Stefan. What's going on? Uh-oh, he's on mute. How do we take him off? He's got to do that.
Nope. Yeah. Hey, man. Completely
What's
forgot.
Going on, Stefan? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine. Forgive me if I'm a little bit distracted, but the track and field world championships are running in the background, so I got to keep an eye on that.
Track and field world championships, huh?
Yeah.
Man, y'all be getting it in over there, man. Y'all be finding all kinds of sports to be into. I'm not watching a bunch of people run all the time unless it's the Olympics.
Hey, man, it's been my life for 15 years, so
I respect it, man.
Yeah.
Nick, are you in anything like that, man? Anything outside of like football? I know you like baseball. But like anything that's like not one of the major fives.
No. I mean, fishing. I mean, obviously I watch a lot of fishing because of my son, but other than that, nothing really.
I have two of them that are my little guilty pleasures, and this has nothing to do with Nothing But Niners, but I'm going to say this and then get off of it. I love watching bowling. I don't care if it's men's, women's, they have college teams and all that stuff. I love watching bowling, and I love watching volleyball also, beach volleyball or on the court. I don't know what it is about volleyball, and it doesn't matter if it's men's or women's either. I watch volleyball too. So
interesting.
Nick, man, I know you're feeling a little under the weather. How you feeling over there? You holding up, man?
Hey, man, I'm holding up, man. I'm here. I woke up this morning again, so that's always a good thing. Yeah, last 3 days or 4 days or so, I've been a little under the weather, but I'm here to bring you guys some Niner talk.
There you go. We're going to get right into it right now, actually. So good segue there. Guys, man, the Niners have been out. They've been doing their little press runs and everything. They've been talking, and we got some interesting quotes from Nick Bosa. We had Kyle Shanahan comment. We've had John Lynch speaking on KMBR and everything. There's been a whole plethora of all these different things that you guys have been talking about and listening to. So anything stand out from you guys from this week's pressers?
To me, not really. I mean, I think that we should just start getting used to Dee Ford not practicing all week until, obviously next year when if he decides to have whatever surgery that he's going to have with that knee tendonitis. Other than that, I mean, the other thing that kind of stood out to me is Jimmy Ward going to start at free safety? That was kind of left up in the air. I see a lot of people on Twitter and such talking about why fix something that's not broke. And I've seen people, put out there that Tarvarius Moore has made no mistakes. And, while Tarvarius Moore has played pretty decently, I think we get more of an action. I don't want to say action. I guess I should say more of a not athletic. Let me think how I should say this. More of a veteran type player, I guess you could say, when Jimmy Ward is back there at free safety over Tarvarius Moore. Even though Tarvarius hasn't played, very bad, But Jimmy Ward's going to definitely bring better angles. Those things that have given up, touchdowns on those mistakes that Tarvarius Moore has made have been touchdowns. So, especially in a close game like Pittsburgh, that was a really bad thing. But those are probably the only two that stood out to me the most. And Nick Bosa talking about, I'm just ready to play on Monday night and showcase what people, showcase what we really are, so people can stop believing that we're pretenders and actually contenders. So those are the three things that probably stood out to me the most.
All three things I want to touch on. I'm bouncing to Stefan first. You touched on Dee Ford and him not practicing. Stefan, is this something that you were worried about when you hear the reports that Dee Ford is practicing less and less and all, and we know about the knee tendonitis and all that? Is this something that you were concerned with when you heard the reports, or are you like Nick and it was like, guys, we shouldn't expect to see him practicing? He's a veteran.
A little bit of both. I mean, it's been these. It's not like his practice time has decreased over the course of the season. It's just he's practicing the final practices, and they are very cautious with him to have him ready come game time. And I've heard that Kansas City did quite a similar thing with him, that they limited his practice, that they were very cautious of his knee, and that they didn't want him to have any flare-ups on his game time. So this is kind of expected, but you gotta wonder if this is true, if he's taking damage from it, from playing season after season. I would love to have him healthy 100%, of course, who wouldn't? But I think for this season, we should expect until week 17 at least, if not the playoffs.
Yeah, I was a little concerned at first, but then I started thinking about it, and like Stefan's hinted to that, this is something that they were doing with him in Kansas City also. We know about the back issues and things like that, and none of that is transferred over. Right now, we're dealing with something that he said is a chronic issue, something that has happened to him in the past. It's probably not going to just completely stop. The Niners were aware of this, I think, at the time of trading and signing him for the long-term deal. And let's be honest, we have a lot of depth on this defensive line. If he was out there playing a lot, we wouldn't see a lot of these guys out there in that heavy rotation. The one thing that is concerning to me about the Dee Ford situation is his snaps are just drastically reducing week after week after week. And so I'm going to be watching that number in particular. Forget the stats and all that. Coming off of a bye week on a big Monday night football game, a statement game, so to speak, and we're going to get to that when we mention Nick Bosa's comments. But week 1, he played in 40 snaps, and we saw and felt his presence out there. Week 2, it was 24 snaps, and then week 3, it was 16 snaps. I mean, he is getting lower and lower and lower every week. And you would think that of those 3 games, if there was one game where you could say we probably could take him off of the field, it would have been week 2 when we put up 40-plus points. But that wasn't necessarily the case. In a game that was pretty close in week 3, he only played in 16 snaps. So I don't know if it was we don't need him because we can get other guys out there. You know what I'm saying? Or is it that, our other guys are beating the opponents or what? I'm not quite sure what the Niners' logic is with his pitch count. And that's the only thing that's concerning. And I'm like, that's air quotes concerning. I'm not super concerned with it. Is it the matchups that they're doing that based off of? Is it, how close the games are and all? But 16 was just, that's four snaps a quarter. You know what I'm saying? That's barely anything at all. So I will be interested to see how much he plays. I am interested in seeing how much he plays this week. And then they say we have a short turnaround. When is our next game? I know we play Monday.
Thursday.
After that. It's a regular 10 a.m. game, I think, for the Finals and Sams.
Because I keep hearing Shanahan, oh, it's a short week. It's a short week and all. And I'm like, it's not that short of a week.
I mean, it's one day shorter, so it's not really a short week. Thursday, October 13th, 1:05 p.m. Pacific at the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Gotcha. So it's basically a home game. But okay, so they're making a big deal about that one day.
Well, yeah, because we play on Monday, which is normally a player's day off. Then they go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then walkthroughs on Saturday. But now they're playing on Monday, so they'll be off on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And they're losing that Tuesday.
Basically one practice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's all right. I'm not gonna. They call it a short week, and I get it. I was just really concerned. I'm like, I don't think I've ever, seen a team play on Monday night and then Thursday night before. So I was like, they kept saying short week, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I don't think that's it, but what do I know? So all right, I'm glad we straightened that out here. But yeah, so I will be watching the pitch count. I will be interested to see which game of the next two, he plays more snaps in. But as far as the production goes, his effectiveness, it's working. I've got no complaints. So, like Nick said about the Tavares Moore situation, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's going to be the next one. Go ahead.
One thing on Dee Ford, the question I kind of have is, what does it take for him to be more available on a basis? So how much rest does he need to not see his decrease week after week? Because right now, as you said it, I didn't really watch the call, so I didn't quite realize that it got less and less per week. So what if the 49ers were to shut him down for a week or two? What kind of effect on him, and would he be able to consistently play like 30 to 40 snaps?
Right, without the practice at all. What do you think about that, Nick? Do you think he needs practice? I mean, we heard John Lynch say when he comes in here, they use him in coverage and they use him in the run game more, and then get after the quarterbacks. Also, he said right here we want him going one direction. Does he really need a ton of practice? What do you think about that?
No, I don't think he does, and that shows from how he didn't practice pretty much the whole preseason. And to touch on what Stefan was talking about, I don't think we need to shut him down for a week or two, because he's already had that rest in preseason, and he was at higher snaps week 1, but then obviously you get lower and lower, but there's a lot of factors that go into that too. So, you have depth that can play and produce, with Ronald Blair or Eric Armstead playing on the outside too, has been playing really well this year. Now, I think if Eric Armstead wasn't playing as well, Ronald Blair wasn't playing as well, and I truly believe that Ronald Blair made this team because of the knee tendonitis of Dee Ford. That helped him. I don't want to say that's the only reason, but that was one way that they could get away and say, okay, well, fine, we're going to keep Blair as one of our guys because he plays the outside. But the thing about it is, I mean, it comes out to what packages you're in, what the team's doing. Is the team passing more? Are you coming in more on passing downs? You heard in the beginning of the season, they wanted to play Dee Ford and Nick Bosa more in passing down situations. Get down, get after the quarterback. It's come to, with the knee tendonitis, that you've dropped down from, 40 to 24 to 16 snaps, to where, but those 16 snaps that he's playing, he's a legitimate problem. Like, he's a legitimate making that play hurt. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's coming in 16 plays and I obviously we want him to be 24 plays out there or 30 plays out there doing the same thing. But those times that he's coming in the game are in crucial situations, and he does his job, and then he gets off the field. And then you can live with Ronald Blair or an Eric Armstead or, whoever else you have on the outside. Am I worried about him not practicing? No, I think this has been something throughout his whole career. Like Stefan was saying, he thinks Kansas City had sort of the same regiment of doing this with him. And I think the 49, I know that we see up here, it says Dee Ford needs surgery in offseason, and I talked about that earlier from Gary Bass, but I think the 49ers are a team that will, if he really needs it right now, they'll shut him down and do it because they're so worried about that injury bug. I think it's just an option, and I think that the Niners will push him to do that this offseason only because of his contract and how much money he's getting for years going on, and they want the best of him. It's just been, they have been playing Nick Bosa more than what they said they were going to as well. So I would look to see Ford have probably somewhere in the 25 to, I would say 22 to 28 snaps this week, coming off having the bye week and the rest of last week. So I would do I would say probably 22 to 28 or 30 snaps this week for Ford. What they do with him going forward is going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I tweeted that out last night actually, and those are about my same numbers. I said I think he'll have 25 to 28 snaps, but because the bye week helps. The only concern is, like I said, that game was really close against the Steelers, and we needed all hands on deck, and it was just 16 snaps. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, what's the deal with it? I'm trying to put a logic to it, and because I can't understand his snap count and the pitch count, that's the only thing it's not concerning. It's bothering me. You know how I am with everything. I look way too much into shit that I have no business looking into. We're winning. I shouldn't be complaining, but I like to try to understand why something is happening so I can predict things going forward. And I can't put a logic to this one. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. And like I said, and like Nick said, I do think he'll be in the 25 to 28 range.
I think if that game wasn't as close as it was, you wouldn't be even thinking about the snaps.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, so yeah, like when we blew them out, it was like, all right, I understood the 24 snaps. We didn't need them then, right? Like we're winning comfortably. All right, you can give the big guy a rest. You don't want to mess up his leg. But that game was really close, and it was always a one-score possession game. I didn't understand when you go out and you see the numbers. Now, we were there, and I'll be honest with you, I was more looking at plays develop and who was on the field at all times. But I didn't notice it there. You know what I'm saying? But when you go back and you look at the numbers, and I'm like, wait, he really only played 16 snaps? And
that's a good thing. If you don't notice that he's not on the field and pressure is still getting there, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's not like where I could tell you in Tampa Bay, when I was in Tampa Bay, remember I said to you guys, I said being there, as soon as they took DeForest Buckner out, the run game got better for Tampa Bay. You could see a difference there. Whereas Dee Ford comes off the field and a Ronald Blair or Eric Armstead or somebody comes in, you don't see a difference. You still think he's on the field, and that's why you don't take notice. So that's a good thing that maybe they just realize they have so much trust in what they have on the edge right now in Ronald Blair and Eric Armstead to do the other things that, to be able to not lose what you lose when you take Dee Ford off the field. Not that they're better than Dee Ford or they're equal, but the play is showing right now that you don't really notice it. So why continue to push his knee when it's a long-ass season?
Right. And, this is an interesting comment here. And it's not that I agree with this, but I do want to touch on this, and we'll move on to the Tavarius Moore thing and Jimmy Ward situation. It says if we go 5-0, he should have surgery now and come back to close out the season. What do you guys think? Is there a number that the Niners can achieve, which almost guarantees almost? I mean, Shanahan said he's gone 5-0 and missed the playoffs before, but I mean, nothing obviously is guaranteed. Is there a number of games or wins that we can accumulate early on that you feel like, you know what, let's go ahead and get them ready for postseason? You know what I mean? Or the December, January stretch and then postseason. Is there a number of wins that you guys could feel like that? Or do you just want to wait it out until the season's over?
5-0 thing looks quite reasonable. The thought of it. I don't know how much time he would miss with this surgery, because I don't know the kind of surgery he would have. But if he could get ready for if the 49ers really start 5-0, I think 5-0 is really this team is different from the 2015 Atlanta Falcons team. I think there is a way better base to team to the playoffs than what the Falcons had back 4 years ago. So 5-0 seems quite reasonable to think. Let's get him ready for the postseason. If he 3 months is enough for him to get healthy again.
Okay. What do you think, Nick? Is there a number?
I say no. I mean, I think with the depth that we have and the ability to keep him on a low snap count and still produce, I think you wait till the season's over, because it's not just his knee, it goes up into his thigh area. So the surgery would probably be longer than what we think. And the other thing is you test it and you say, okay, well, this surgery is only going to cost us 6 to 8 weeks, but it really costs you 15.
Right. If there's
So now you're losing him and
Yeah.
you're losing a setback. Why not take him at, 80% of what he's given right now? Or we can even go to 70% because you have that 30% backup who can give you that same type of energy. And you're keeping them both healthy. You're not making the injury any worse. You're still allowing them to play 16 to 20 snaps. And you don't test that. I mean, to me, I don't think we're in position to test that even with the depth. I think we keep him at 16 to 20 snaps or whatever it is, whatever he goes going forward. I'm just saying 16 now because it's been kind of 16 to 40 snaps in between. So we'll stay there. But when he's on the field for those 16, 17, whatever snaps he's on, he is producing. So why not just keep him at a producing rate, replace him with somebody who can produce as well, where you don't see a big drop off, keep him till the end of the season, get him so that he has a complete full off season to heal and come back completely healthy instead of, okay, you got 8 weeks. Man, we're pushing it. Look what just happened with Jalen Hurd. It's not going to be that long. It's not going to be that long. Same thing with Trent Taylor. Oh, it's not going to be that long. It's not going to be that long. But there's setbacks. Jerick McKinnon. Oh, he's going to be ready to go. Nope, another setback. Why lose a guy that you just paid all this money for when he can literally play right now? It just may be at a limited role when you have the backups. Don't push it. Wait till the offseason. Let the guy get fully healthy and then go from there.
I'm sorry. That's my man Hodge, though. All right, play Ford until his leg falls off. Hopefully he doesn't, though. That's my man Hodge. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. We're already going longer than I expected to, and Nick gave us 2 more that I want to touch on here. This Jimmy Ward usage and Tavares Moore. Stefan, what were your thoughts on that? I know you're watching the game and everything, so I'll buy you some time to think if you like. But
it's a match, not a game.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Competition.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. See, it's not as okay. Here's a debate I've had with my cousins, right? A sport versus a competition. And everyone's saying that gymnastics is a sport, okay? And I said it wasn't. I got yelled at for this and everything. And they were like, oh, you're just downplaying women. I said a sport, to me, is an event that you can prevent your opponent from scoring in. Where a competition is just you go out there and you do your thing on your own and you get scored on it. You can't stop someone from getting a good score in gymnastics. You can't stop someone from running faster than you in track.
Unless you're Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh, shit.
Or they're in the movie The Dictator and have a gun with you.
Oh, my God. You guys got dark so quick. You know what? Let's get back to football. Forget it. I don't even care. I don't even care what your opinions are anymore. I don't even care anymore. He brought up Nancy Kerrigan. Jesus Christ. Stefan bringing weapons. All right. Jimmy Ward. Is Jimmy Ward playing this week? Is he starting? And if so, what position are you putting him at, Stefan?
I think since Quan Williams has been playing pretty well at quarterback, that's no spot for either Mosley or so slot cornerback is staying, though the question is now who's playing on the outside and who's playing on free safety. And Jimmy Ward, I think they not cornerback or free safety, that kind of role. But not so that spot's going to Emmanuel Mosley. So the debate is basically free safety. Who do you start? And I think Scott mentioned it in our group chat. Tavares Moore is not as experienced as I mean, that's expected. This is his first season starting, first season at free safety in the NFL. It takes time, but the question is if they can't live with his mistakes right now, they would have to start Jimmy Ward because he's been in the league for a long time now. Both, Mike, we've been big supporters of Jimmy Ward throughout his career, and we hold him in high regard. I think he would be way more solid, and I kind of don't think of him as a vet yet, although he is, but particularly the veteran presence. He's sound in what he does, He's a great athlete. The literally only concern we've always had with him was his due to injury. So I would go with Jimmy Ward. The upside, I don't know if you can distinguish between Tarvarius Moore's side. So play the guy who's better right now, and play the guy you think can play if everything goes well at the highest level. And I think we will see Jimmy Ward start at free safety this week.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't know if Nick wants to jump in before I say my piece on it really quick. So I know you spoke on it already, but I don't know if you want to touch on anything Stefan just said.
Well, I mean, it comes down to, like Stefan's kind of saying, is you put the best 11 on the field. I mean, we've talked about this before. We've talked about it with Verrett. We've talked about it with Akello. We've talked about it with Sherman. We've talked about it with everybody. And you've heard Robert Saleh say it himself. And somebody asked him, is Jimmy Ward still one of the best 11 on this team, on this defense? And he said, Jimmy Ward is one of the best 11 on this field. Mm-hmm. And if you hear that from your defensive coordinator, you put one of your best 11 on the field. Now, Tarvarius Moore has been playing really, really well. Do I think it's going to hurt him or hurt this team by replacing him right now, only for him to get better? Tarvarius Moore's angles have been really, really bad since college. You can go back. Even when they drafted him, they talked about it at the desk about Tarvarius Moore's angles, saying this really surprises me that they're going to move him to safety because this is what he has issues with. And it was angles. And he's not getting any better right now. Even with Joe Woods or somebody coming in like that, he's not getting better at his angles. You can see it play after play after play. Sometimes he makes the tackles, sometimes he doesn't. But I have full confidence in Jimmy Ward coming at the right angle. I have full confidence in Jimmy Ward going sideline to sideline. I have full confidence in Jimmy Ward keeping things in front of him. The problem where I have with Jimmy Ward is more so going up against bigger bodied receivers, going up against, decent competition. But this game in general, with a Jarvis Landry and an Odell Beckham, your angles need to be.
And Callaway coming back too.
And Callaway coming back. Your angles have to be perfect. Because if they miss up front, you're the last man. There's no way. You have to make those angles, and you have to make them count. And it's nothing against Tarvarius Moore. And I understand that we all sit here, and I've harped on Jimmy Ward for years. Why is he still here? He can't stay healthy. He's a Band-Aid. He's going to get hurt putting his cleats on, all these things. But right now, our team is 3-0. If this guy comes back and he can stay healthy, whether it's 1 game, 3 games, 5 games, 7 games, the rest of the season, if he can stay healthy, he makes this team better one way or another. You can't sit him on the sideline. He makes this team better. And if you're in it right now to win it and 3-0 and you have that mindset, Tarvarius Moore should just step back and say, you know what? I'm going to learn. I'm going to practice. I'm going to get better. And this could be Jimmy Ward's on a 1-year contract. This could be his time next year, Tarvarius Moore. He's played well. He's played okay. I wouldn't give him 0 mistakes. But to me, if it makes your team better right now, make the move. We talk about it with Jalen Ramsey. We talk about it with other things. Well, we have a guy here who is probably the best tackling football player on our defense in Jimmy Ward when healthy. Put him on the field. It's only going to benefit us and make us better.
Yeah, I think, what I think? It comes down to what the team thinks the opponent is going to do. If we're playing a guy like Jameis Winston or even a Baker Mayfield, I think that I could see the benefit in having Moore out there over Jimmy Ward. I think one guy is going to make bigger plays, bigger splash plays, more likely to get his hands on the pick. And the other guy is just going to bring you solid football that you can depend on, fewer mistakes and things like that. If you want to take a gamble in a game, I think you go with a guy like Moore. I think if you want to be safe and you want to keep everything in front of you, if you think you're going to be in a shootout, then you're going to want some veteran presence out there, that experience that you guys are talking about with Jimmy Ward. So I think Ward ends up getting the start at free safety today also. So I agree with you guys. I won't drag it out.
I saw this one comment. I just want to touch this right here. And he said, right here, Eternal Creator says, there's literally nothing to lose with Jimmy. If he gets hurt, then Moore comes back out and nothing has changed.
The only difference that I see with that is right now, Jimmy Ward is – I could also see the team hesitating on this because look, you got Emmanuel Mosley making a start also, right? So we're thinner at that corner position, because if Mosley or Sherman get hurt, then what are you going to do? You only have so many games active on so
which is more
active.
of a reason, which is exactly hits to my point, which is more of a reason to start a sure tackler who has better angles in behind you with a guy starting who hasn't started yet.
No. What I'm saying is I'm talking about the depth in case of an injury. Knock on wood that there isn't any, but I'm saying in case of another injury in that secondary, if Ward is already up, then who? I guess you could put Moore back over there and then bring Ward down to. All right, never mind. Forget what I was saying.
I was going to say, I talk
myself through it.
You say he's the Swiss Army knife, so
he is. I talked myself through it. I got myself off the ledge. I agree with internal creator. I was going to say external, but sorry. And the last thing that Nick brought up was the Bosa comments. Bosa said that he wants to show. I'm paraphrasing, but basically, it's Monday Night Football. Everyone's going to be watching. I can't wait to show everybody that we're for real this year. We're contenders, not pretenders. Those comments gave me chills. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's something that. And you know what struck me the most about this is that Bosa is not a talker.
I was just going to say that. I literally was just going to say that.
You see this guy in the pressers, he's very reserved. He looks like he's thinking about every word that's about to come out of his mouth. This isn't him. They said that he spent the weekend with his brother focusing on how to finish the sacks, not just getting pressures. And he's coming back with this new confidence. And he's not on the injury report. He's healthy. He's working with his brother. And all of a sudden, he's popping off at the mouth. I think we're about to see some shit happen with our man Nick Bosa. I think we're about to see the benefits of this first-round pick. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on it, man? It got me hype. I'm not going to lie. It got me really excited.
Yeah. I saw the comment posted by our beat writers. I posted in our because that's exactly the mindset you like to see from the play. Like you don't want to see them being overconfident. You don't want to see them getting in their own head, basically. You humble, like Richard Sherman said, and it's spread to the older guys in the locker room, like Richard Sherman, Joe Staley, basically. To keep them level-headed and with the underdog mentality, because it's not like the 49ers are overconfident in themselves, and it's not like even national outlets are overconfident in the 49ers. Like, you could go out there, everyone who is not Daniel Jeremiah basically say the 49ers need to show more. They need to show. They look to me like pretenders. They might not be the real deal, or whatever the comments are. The 49ers right now, nationally at least, aren't viewed as to be reckoned with come December. And I like to see the players notice it, and I like to see the players with the mindset out there trying to prove them all wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one thing that I also noticed, I'm going to give it to Nick and let Nick sound off. I can see him bubbling over there. He can't wait to say it. But he both all the confidence and everything. He didn't say we're going to win. We're just going to show y'all we're for real. We might not get this W, but we're going to show y'all. You're going to remember our names. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're right here. So, you know, go ahead, Nick. That's all I was going to say.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. Is I don't give a shit what other people think. Like, you know, I talked about this before on a show a couple times where I said, I don't care. Players come out and they say this and they say that and they say this and they say that, because I need to see it on the field. But I can't say that about Bosa because he's been producing. He just hasn't been finishing. He's been producing with pressures, hits, things like that. He just hasn't been able to get home. But what's he do? Goes to San Diego, meets up with his brother, starts talking on a bye week. Hey, how do I do this? How do I get better at this? How do I get better at this? Blah, blah, blah. Now, Joey Bosa is one of the better ones of finishing He really is.
They were in Los Angeles, by the way.
Well, yeah, Los Angeles, wherever. But I'm just saying, I keep forgetting Los Angeles Chargers, San Diego Chargers, whatever. You know what I mean? But what it comes down to is this kid he's staying humble. He's not saying, "Oh, I was number 2 pick overall. I can't still continue to get better." He has that mindset. Whereas people said before, he's a locker room cancer. He's this, he's that. He doesn't get along with these people. He's racist. He's this. The dude just wants to play football, and that's how he's always been. And I think we're going to see a different type of Nick Bosa this weekend, but I don't think it's going to be like to where it's like wowing us, but you may see different things in his hand techniques or things that he is getting better with. Look, this kid's going to be special. I mean, he really is. And Mike, I was going to touch on it before you touched on it. This dude is very, well, you
look just
right. Because he's always like, but he's just very quiet. He's very, he's just one of those people that are, doesn't really talk much. And then to come out and say in an interview, well, look, we're going to stop making people feel like we're the fake undefeated team. We're going to come out, we're going to show what we are and move on from there. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm just super pumped for him. I'm just excited for this game. I mean, the biggest thing we have to do, and we'll talk about that but we got to protect the football. If we protect the football of this game, we're winning this game easily.
Yeah. All right. This is the last thing I'm going to say. I tried to talk myself out of it while you guys are talking. Nick, you brought it up again, and I'm like, nah, I'm not looking at you. You brought it up, and I was really trying to convince myself not to say it, but you said it again. I was like, damn it, I got to say it now. So we're talking about how, and last week everyone was giving me, some riff on how I kept saying I just want a little bit of respect, and everyone's like, who cares what they say? We should keep playing. We should keep winning. The fact is, these players hear it also.
Mm-hmm. Because
Nick Bosa wouldn't make these comments if the players didn't hear this noise also. They want a little bit of respect as well. That's all I wanted to say. It's like it's not just me and I'm sitting here like, yo, just say the Niners look good. Just give us a compliment.
Right. But the difference there is they don't need the compliment. Just keep winning. Like that's all you need. Like people doubt you. That people are not giving you that oh, you're a good team. Well, yeah, New England's a really good team. They beat the Jets, they beat Miami, and they beat Buffalo. Okay, Buffalo is one of the top teams right now in the league at 3-1. But the other two teams, you go up against shitty ass quarterbacks, like no offense really, poor offensive lines, teams that haven't really scored a lot of points. But it doesn't matter what people think about you. They can think about it all you want. You can hear that rumbling in your head. But the best way to show that you're for real is to win. It doesn't mean, oh, we need that credit. We need this. We need that. Just go out there, play football, and continue to win. If you drop a game.
Yeah, you're also you're not playing just. You're always get the respect you think you deserve. That's just part of it. You're like. If you continually or annually win a lot of games, and people still show you the respect, say they are pressure or what, and you always want to prove the doubters wrong, want to show everyone, including the doubters, that you're one of the best at what you do, and I think, sure, the best thing is to go out there and win, but you can use whatever negative things are said just as a little bit of motivation to really go out there and win because you want to prove them wrong, but to win because you want to win and to prove them wrong.
Exactly.
As motivation.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like use it as motivation, use it as fuel. But when you get that point across, like there's where that saying comes in: actions speak louder than words. Like you can put it out there that people are clowning you, but you don't need like all our players don't need to start saying it. I'm glad that Nick Bosa said it because you wouldn't expect it from him. So that shows you that this team knows what's being said about them, right? So if a Fred Warner came out and said that, I wouldn't be too surprised about it because he is a, media type person. Yeah, he's more sociable type of guy. He's going to say, if Richard Sherman would have said it, it's just overlooked. Players are saying what players say. But when Nick Bosa says it, when nothing really comes out of his mouth and he's really low key, then this team is on that level as we're here to prove something wrong. And I'm not saying that it's bad that he said that. It's just you're going to get credit as you continue to win. And that's the way that this league has always been. You could be the Super Bowl champion last year, come back and win 4 games, and you're still going to get credit for that Super Bowl championship, and you're just having an off year because you lost this person or you lost this person or you lost that person. So the way to do it is just win, shut the haters up, and just continue to win. I understand what you're saying, though, Stefan. You want to win for yourself. You want to win because of them, and you just want to prove to yourself and them and your team that you can do this. And that's basically the mindset that they need to have. One game at a time. This is the last game of the year. The next game is the last game of the year. The next game is the last game of the year. Move on and just continue to win.
I agree with what you guys are saying, though. I do think so. I don't want to talk too much about anything else. I want to get to some bold predictions. We're just going to try to pick some upsets this week in the NFL. But before I do, I'm not going to go into details about the 2 pressers, but Kyle Shanahan's pressers and Kyle Shanahan plus Jimmy Garoppolo's presser, and then Richard Sherman and Robert Saleh's pressers. Body language, tone, that all said a lot to me this week, fellas. Nick is shaking his head because he's like, hey, I know you think I'm like the conspiracy theorist, but listen, man, body language, it speaks, bro. That's why they call it body language. And Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo are the most confident I've ever seen them. Ever. They're up there. At one point, it was 2 seconds of silence. No one asked Shanahan a question. And instead of saying, oh, okay, is that it? He was like, really? Nothing else? Like he was looking for more. He was ready to talk. I've never seen Shanahan do that. Jimmy's up there. He's smiling. He's cracking jokes. I mean, he's always been this nervous kind of smiler, but this was a sincere, like, I'm ready to talk. Like, let's talk about it now. You know?
Yeah, but that was like a minute into the interview, and somebody stalled on asking a question. He's like, "Oh, that's it, really? Okay." And
no, he didn't say okay like he was gonna walk off. He was like, "Come on, like that's it." And no one else. Like he was looking for more. Is what I'm saying. He was like legit looking for more. He that's not Shanahan. We've never seen that from Shanahan.
Well, but you also got to look at it this way: the more we continue to win, our media asks always negative questions. They're losing out on asking more and more negative questions because there's really nothing negative to ask. That's why in every presser now, it's about why is Jalen Hurd not back? Why is Trent Taylor? Why is this? All negative. All negative. They're losing on what to talk about. This team doesn't know how to ask a positive question. They don't. They went back to asking Richard Sherman about Seattle days.
Nick hates our beat writers, guys.
But I'm just saying, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, dude. Like they run out of questions. Our pressers. But really, our pressers are like they're all negative.
Oh shit. God.
This team is so used to being asked negative questions that there's like very, very few positive questions that come up. Like literally, like I said, you're asking Richard Sherman about his Seattle days, his first games played. Why?
I hate you so much.
But tell me I'm lying.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not at all. And I understand what you're saying. Like it seems like they're struggling to find questions to ask. And then when you hear some of the questions that are asked, they just sound so random. Like what does it have to do with this game that's coming up? You know what I mean? Like why are you asking those kind of questions? So I got some apple juice in my nose. Sorry. Nick tried to kill me, guys.
I didn't even do anything. I just told you the truth.
But yeah, so their body language was telling. Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan are extremely confident going into this week in particular. It could be the 3-0. It could be that they feel like they got a little monkey off their back or something like that. But Saleh was confident in the last 3 games. This one, he seemed a little more reserved. He was putting a little bit more respect out there. And he's always been respectful to our opponents. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that he's ever disrespected anybody. But he was speaking with a bit of caution. And even Richard Sherman was doing that too. And so it was, I feel like this is going to be a shootout. I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that they as in the teams, they see matchups that they like or dislike. So on the offensive side of the ball, I think that Kyle Shanahan has identified a number of mismatches, or not even mismatches, but matchups. And I think he realized something like, when they play against this type of personnel, they run these guys out here and we can take advantage of them like this. So, I think that Shanahan has reviewed all the tape and everything, and they've put together a really good game plan, and Shanahan is super confident. You can't convince me that the 49ers aren't putting up 30 points on Monday. You can't convince me of it, because the way Shanahan and Garoppolo are looking, they're going to put up 30 points. On the flip side, I think the Niners defense feels like there's something that they could expose. There's something that the Browns could expose if they find it, and I think the Niners are cautious about that. And so I think that they're worried about how much Freddie Kitchens is going to put out there, and if he's going to find what it is that they can expose. And so I can see that. I feel that from their body language.
And that's mindset to have, to not think that you're invincible. Be cautious of your own shortcomings, and to be able to see this is what we have to look out for. And put a little bit of emphasis on to mask the flaws a little bit. And to be fair, this might be the best position players faced all year so far. I mean, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans was great in Tampa Bay, and they are a really good duo this year. And Godwin,
they got a good tight end in Tampa Bay also.
Yeah, and OJ Howard, but the Browns, Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb especially is one of the best runners in the league right now, and you just can. It's really hard to make this team one-dimensional. Like you really have to put a lot of emphasis on stopping the run or stopping the pass. It's not like one is really worse than the other. Baker Mayfield can play at a really high level as well. It's just on the 49ers to make life hard on Baker Mayfield, with 4 guys at best, and then to continue a lot of that of the outcome. I think will depend a lot of on those 2 things to make Baker Mayfield think to contain Nick Chubb, because if you once lose contain, he's going for 88 and touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, guys, let's wrap this thing up here. We got the week 5 schedule here, and I want to know if you guys think there are any upsets that are coming. So so far we have the Jets and Eagles, Panthers and Jaguars, Vikings and Giants, Falcons and Texans, Buccaneers and Saints, Bills and Titans, Cardinals and Bengals, Patriots and Redskins, Ravens and Steelers, Raiders and Bears happening also at 1 o'clock. That's a lot of games on at 1 o'clock. Broncos and Chargers, Packers and Cowboys, and then Colts and Chiefs, and then there's our game on Monday. Any of those games, do you guys feel an upset in there anywhere?
I'm taking Tampa Bay over New Orleans.
Tampa Bay over New
Tampa
Orleans.
Bay over New Orleans. I have that as well.
I can see that. They got the ball rolling last week, and I'm not sure if New Orleans get into a shootout with Teddy Bridgewater. So that's
and
both defensive lines.
Titans over Buffalo Bills.
Now that's bold. I don't know what kind of confidence you have in Marcus Mariota, but that Buffalo Bills defense is going to be all over him.
This is not about Marcus Mariota. This about the defense of Tennessee, and they are playing at home. Buffalo has to go on the road. I know they also want to, but I think they can make life really hard on the Bills offense. This will be a really defense-heavy game, and I'm just trusting the Titans defense.
Okay. My upset is going to be the Jets over the Eagles.
That was another one.
I heard a stat today that was just dumb, and I couldn't believe it. The Jets in the Super Bowl era have never beat the Eagles. I don't know how many games that is, but I couldn't believe that when I heard that shit. So
I mean, that could be like every 4 game soon. 50 years? 50 years?
That's kind of crazy, right?
10, 12, 15 games max.
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we get up out of here? It's 1 o'clock. The games are starting. I don't want to hold anybody up.
Yeah. And, other than that, I don't have any upsets. Not any more topics. Watching.
I got a bold prediction. I got a bold prediction for Monday night, though.
Uh-oh. Mike's not wearing a jersey.
No. 49ers, no. Don't you even do it. 49ers defense holds Nick Chubb to like 50 yards.
Yo, guys, make sure you read my bold prediction article. I swear Nick read it. You said 2 things today. But no, I said they keep him under 85.
50 yards. And the reason I'm saying that is because I've gone back and watched every game that Nick Chubb's played in, and the times that he gets a lot of yards is because of stupid-ass missed tackles. I mean, Baltimore missed tackles from the line of scrimmage all the way to the secondary.
Yeah, you're right.
So this team has been tackling really, really well. If we can tackle him at contact or even a few yards before, he's not going to put up over 100 yards on it.
Let's go. I like it. All right. And then I think the highest scoring game of the week is going to come from the Cardinals and Bengals game. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't know what the over-under is in that one, but I think it's going to be a shootout. And I think the Cardinals might get their first win of the year. So, all right, guys, let's get up out of here. You guys know the drill already. I want to thank my man, Stefan. You guys give him a follow on Twitter. He is JAV95_. See? Put it right there on the screen. I don't have to worry about getting it wrong. That's what I'm talking about. My man, Nick, he's got to run also 49er Faithful 365 all day, every day. You guys make sure you give him a follow. I am 49ers Mike _NFL. The main page is nothing but 9ERS. You guys make sure you give us a follow. We're done, man. We're going to talk to you guys tomorrow before the game. I'm trying to get a special guest on. So make sure you got those notifications turned on. Hit that like and subscribe button, people. We're up out of here. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
Always remain faithful.
Bang, bang. We out of here. Peace.